So, a thought that I've had on my mind for a while, and something that I've been contending with, is the question of what is happening to purpose and what happened to it. And the reason I bring it up is I had this realization where a few generations ago, it didn't seem like there was always this case of not really knowing what your purpose was or what your purpose in living life was. And I really just formulated the question of, was this always the case? Seeing as now our generation, a lot of the time, the more recent generations deal with the self actualization level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs and run into the issue of figuring out what their purpose is in this life. So that's a question I really just want an answer to: is how has this changed? Has it really changed? Like, is this something that is new just to this generation and the millennials before? Or is this something that's always been the case? And just now are we realizing and seeing that this is a common issue that a lot of people deal with? So, again, the main question I really want to focus on, really wanted to have answered, is what's really happened? Like, what has happened? To me, the idea of purpose has become one of the most discussed, debated topics in today's day and age, especially among the millennials and my generation, Gen Z. And that could too just be down to the social media feed I get a lot of the time. You don't necessarily see people of the older generations a lot of the time contending with this exact issue. You don't really see people that are older having these exact same questions that you see a lot of younger people have and a lot of younger people talking about and dealing with. Another thing I really wanted to kind of focus on was, like, how did we get here? And where is this metaphorical state of purpose in our lives currently? Like, what does it mean? It seems like there are a lot of people who are in this state of limbo right now where they don't really know and can't really define what their purpose is. I'm one of those people that's kind of struggling, trying to figure out what's my reason and what am I supposed to do with the time here that I have here on this earth. And another thing that I've really focused on as it's become a lot more apparent in my life, especially more recently in the past couple months, is that being really busy or having a heavy schedule, like having a lot of busyness, can often masquerade itself as purpose and meaning in a person's life. You don't really have the time to sit back and question and wonder and ponder if that is actually what your life's purpose should be. It's kind of because the busyness takes over all of your mental capacity that you have to really question those things. And by doing so, you don't really allow for those nihilistic thoughts to kind of set in, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Uh, I don't know many people that would think thinking nihilistically is a good idea. There is the nihilism philosophy that some people do subscribe to, but I feel that having those nihilistic thoughts have the ability to set in are only good at certain situations when you're trying to be a little more particular about thinking where your life's going in the future, and if you're doing things now in your daily life that actually are going to help move you towards that ideal goal that you have in the future. Like I said before, one of the main things I really wanted to cover is this just more a modern day problem, or is this something that has been the case for a long time now? Uh, is this just more of a recent generational problem, millennials and Gen Z, like I said, or has this always been the case for the older generations, baby boomers, Gen X, Gen Y, all the ones that lead up before? Did our parents, grandparents, and great grandparents all have the same thoughts and worries that we do today? And it's just the only reason why it's becoming a talking point now is because, A, with the place that a lot of people are in their lives, they're a lot more comfortable and have the opportunity in certain areas of the world, have a lot more opportunity to focus on these types of questions? Or is it genuinely down to the fact that we just have the capacity to talk about it more? It's always been an issue and it's always been something that people have thought about, but we are now more incentivized to vocalize it, especially on social media as it reaches a lot of people. Because if you think about it, back in the day when you didn't really have that much access to other people outside of your immediate community, there's probably a very small number of people that might have had the same thoughts. I'm learning and slowly realizing that the depth of thought that some people have, it varies widely. There are some people that genuinely ruminate and think a lot more than others. and that can feel lonely at times. And I think this type of question is something that, if especially if you're somebody who ruminates and thinks a lot more, and you're a little more cerebral in how you are normally, you know, uh, normally how you're moving about everyday life, I think this is a question that you contend with a lot more than most people do. And I know, because I know it's something that I definitely contend with a lot more. And I think back then, when you didn't have that access to the worldwide web and the ability to talk with people that are not in your immediate vicinity, I think it was a lot harder to feel comfortable in even voicing those concerns and those thoughts, because it may just be you feeling like an outsider for doing that. And it could also be maybe just fear of not receiving the response that you want, receiving a response where people say, well, I haven't really thought about that, or I don't really care, or I haven't had the time to think about that. And that's kind of some of the things that, I feel like we have to contend with. I feel that regardless if it was a more current issue or if it's a long time issue, I think the real thought and the real pondering of it is still there. I think there's a lot of people that in today's day and age genuinely do worry and wonder about what their life's purpose is, especially as you see things like AI becoming a big issue, where there's that ever looming presence of AI is going to take most of our jobs away. All the entry level jobs are going to be gone, and so what are the younger people going to do? How are they going to make a living, pay off all their school debt that they took on, all those other things? I see it being a ever more pressing issue as the years go on, as we find less and less things to put our meaning and purpose into. And also because I think genuinely the things that we're always told and we were always taught to be with what we should attach our purpose and meaning in life are just genuinely not both of interest to people anymore, and also at the same time not the paths that a lot of people want to take anymore, especially as you get options like making money online through social media, through content creation, and then all the other businesses you can start on the side, whether it be something financial coaching, life coaching, consulting businesses you can provide online. I think you're going to see a lot of people struggle in the terms of decision bias, or decision paralysis, I should say, where there's so many different options, it's almost really difficult to determine what's the correct path to go down. And I think that'll be an issue people will have to contend with in the future. But overall, I think me personally, I think this is an issue that probably has been on people's minds for a while now. Very few people, I think maybe you've seen a number ramp up because as people less live in the domain of having to do things for the purpose of this is what they have to do, because there are people that have to do certain things in life because of necessities like responsibilities of family, kids, debt, everything that you have, which are things that still happen today. But I think as you see people put off having things like family and other responsibilities, I think you're going to see a large increase of people really searching for some meaning and purpose to act as some pseudo vessel, essentially, for that purpose and meaning that people are searching for in their lives. So that is honestly just something I thought about. I would love to hear what you guys all think about this specific topic in the comments. If you think it was something that has always been the case and it's just more vocal now because people are feeling more free to talk about it, or if you think this is more of a current generation or recent generations issue. I've contended back and forth. I can't come down with a good answer, but I'd love to hear what you guys have to say and what you think about. So, yeah, thanks for listening. Appreciate your time, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.